Yeah, it's crazy to see what's going on because I see training camp is starting up. This might be the first time I really watch Hard Knocks because they're doing it on the Jets this year, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I'm
Heck,
willing to watch that, because they already have so much like mid season, preseason hype. A lot of people are always been talking about the Jets since the moment, even before Aaron got there, when they were just making moves to get like a solid foundation for when he got there. They was being talked about, so it's like we gonna see. I think that's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a good show to watch. Because I have never really watched a full season of Hard Knocks. I think I watched when the Rams did it like years ago, like when they first moved back to LA. When it was like, what was the name of that coach? He was like
uh,
the dude. Was it not Vrabel? It was like the dude who's always he's had the beard, not the beard. He's had the
was
mustache or something. I
it
can't
or
remember his
something
name.
like that? Or am I tripping? It
I
was
can't remember. No, because Vrabel is the coach of Tennessee right now. He used to coach Tennessee at a time, but I can't remember his name. But it was when they had Todd Gurley. They still wore like the old St. Louis uniforms, but they were just transitioning to LA.
it,
I
it
think
was it was like a coach they had for a while too, or some shit like that. I can't
yeah,
remember.
he been coaching for a minute. I don't know what he does now, but yeah, it was him. And yeah, that was like 2015, 2016. I remember watching that Hard Knocks, and I think I watched one of the teams do like an in season Hard Knocks. I think it might have been the Colts like a few years ago. I watched that, but neither of those teams did I watch a full entire season of it. So I'm excited to see them do the Jets. I hope they do my Jaguars next year or something, or maybe they're the in season of this year. I don't know who's the in season. I'll Google that real quick.
I was saying that with the Rams coaches, I got to pull it up with Sean McVay, Jeff Fisher, Steve Spagnuolo.
Jeff
Spagnuolo.
Fisher, that's what it was. It was Jeff Fisher, the dude with the mustache. Yeah,
Yeah, I was say
yeah.
those are the only three names I know, and then it was like there's a Dick Vermeil. I'm like, I don't remember. Coach B, God damn, I like that. I ain't gonna hold the Rams this year. I'm not really fearing them this year, bro. They just tried to trade Matthew Stafford, and we need to talk about that. Like, yeah, like it wasn't like officially put out there, like they're talking about,
When?
bro. It was like 2 weeks ago, like before the
Uh,
draft, like right before. No, it was like right
Well, the
before.
draft was in May. Well,
No, no,
I
no,
don't
no.
know.
I had to think about it. It
Was
was
it before or after they drafted? Because they did end up picking up Stetson Bennett and stuff, and I think they picked up another quarterback just to like
it,
have on.
it
You know,
was before, but then you also think about too the rookie. I mean, the person they did draft, like, is an older, like.
stop, 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 stop.
They
Let's not let that narrative. This is a team that said f them picks. Do you really think they care about age? They spent all those years to get a 30-year-old Matt Stafford anyway. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
They're gonna try and get up off that because they said, man, that money contract I come in, we ain't trying to pay that. Like, we got off of Jalen Ramsey. We can get up off you too. You want to retire? You go ahead, retire.
Yeah, yeah. I
You know
don't
what
think the
I'm saying?
Rams are sitting here playing it smart on some like, oh, we need a young quarter. We need to get this. No, bro. If they see that they can, what's it called? If they see that they can, capitalize off of a quarterback for a few years, they'll do it, and then they'll move on. It's not about we got to build for the future. This is a different type of team, and it's in a city that is basically heavily off of like, okay, what can you do right now? And then whenever you're done, you're done. We don't need to build something. I don't think the Rams franchise is going to be looking for like a quarterback of the future. They're going to be looking for a quarterback of the now. And right now, Stetson Bennett is a two-time national championship. Yeah, he had a very stacked defense, but look what he has now too. He has a very stacked defense. He's a quarterback that thrives off of a great defense and playing pretty conservative. He didn't really take a lot of shots as a Georgia quarterback. He just kind of did his thing. So I
Yeah,
think he's going to have a little bit of success in the NFL, giving him some time. So we'll
yeah,
see.
he's a dope stopgap for him to get. Like, he's not. It's not like they're going from like there's like a big talent drop off, especially at this point in Matthew Stafford's career. It's more like, okay, if we have to put in, since we got like Stafford were to get hurt, we at least have someone we could sit here and say, okay, we could be able to work a project. We'll make it not trying to, let's just throw Baker Mayfield out there off the flight. You know what I'm saying? How they did that last year? We ain't doing that. We're gonna have someone who can actually do this at least throughout this year to see what he do, give him the opportunity. And if we don't have it, then yeah, we clean the house. Like, I would not be surprised if Aaron Donald were to be like, yeah, I'm trying to get up out of here by the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? I really wouldn't be surprised because you look at that locker room, you look at the roster, the talent. Like, yeah, they still got Cooper Cup, but like a lot of the other top stars of talent getting older, or they let them go. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, until they could replace that, that's what's going to be key. And until they can, on paper, I'm looking at them. It's kind of like they're kind of blessed that the Cardinals got with Kyler Murray. They're kind of banking on the Niners with their quarterback situation, and the Seahawks too with Geno. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of banking on them boys is not going to be good enough to make us worry. So we should be able to you know what I'm saying, be able to hold our own and win this division. That's what should come out of it. That's what they truly believe. They felt that last year they just knocked themselves out off the track. If they don't, yeah, like they had that kind of owner that's just gonna sit there and clean the house immediately and be like, "No, we're not doing this." You know what I'm saying? Like he said, "Fuck them pissed." He's gonna be on that. Like I just, I don't think the Rams are built for long term success, and the constant going for win now. It's gonna be a lot of times they're gonna get burnt, but there might be a year they might capitalize off of it too. You know what I mean? It's kind of like really 50-50 with
So
them.
we've already seen them do it. We've seen them capitalize it already off of 1 year. It's basically a conversation about different wide receivers that were underrated. And, they first started talking about Anquan Bolin, and of course Shannon Sharp's brother. Of course, we knew him, but oh, okay, they got another one. They're going with Andre Johnson. Which I think that's valid. But I just wanted to get that out there to ask, who do you think is one of the most underrated wide receivers of our generation that we've seen? I think it's Steve Smith. Man, I don't know if it's because I grew up in the Carolinas around the time he was really popping, but like I just always saw him as that number one guy, that dude that you was afraid to. And I think a lot of people think about his his mouth or like his chatter more than they think of his play. But he was that guy that was gonna burn you too. He was a little bit of a tougher version of Deshaun Jackson. Maybe he wasn't as versatile. Like Deshaun could return punts. I don't remember Steve Smith returning punts and kicks that much, but I do remember he was burning dudes off the deep route. You know what I'm saying? Especially on the sideline. He was a small, fast guy who could be on the sideline, not just in the slot. You know what I mean? Compared to D-Jack, where it's like you kind of wanted him deep, but you wanted him through the slot. So it's like he kind of had a little bit of a Tyreek Hill to him, to it, because Tyreek, you could put him on the outside, he could still burn you. You know what I'm saying? But he's still also tough enough to get off you. I mean, to get you off of him. And it's the same with Steve Smith. He was going to burn you, but he was also tough enough. So I kind of have that comparison to him. I feel like he's maybe like uh, a B version of what Tyreek Hill is right now. You know what I'm saying? But I hate to do it that way in the reverse, but that's just how I'm putting it. But yeah, I really like Steve Smith, man. I think he was one of the most underrated.
Yeah, man, I understand. Man, Steve Smith was a dog, bro. Steve was a dog, bro. Like folks kind of forget about that, and I got getting a rewatch. I think it was him on that Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp, bro. Like you get to see him really talk about his side of going into his career, his mindset of going into being a player that who he was. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't just about to sit here and just lay down and let nobody just dictate nothing regardless of the size, stature, whatever. He said, "Nah, bro, I'm out here. We out here." Man, Steve was a dog. For me, if I gotta go, if I'm gonna go personal for me, bro, I'm about to go To, bro. I ain't gonna hold to you. And the reason why I had to go To,
Underrated?
talk about, I mean,
Underrated, Kenna.
he,
Come on. People
no,
talk about T.O.
no, because he ain't even get to the Hall of Fame yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been.
No, okay, no, we're not
I was
finna do
talking about.
that. Just because you're the Hall of Famer, just because you're not in the Hall of Fame, don't mean that you're not. You know what I'm saying? There's lots of legends right now that ain't in the Hall of Fame right yet,
Yes,
or
yes,
something
yes.
like that. You know what I'm saying? It's really just due to age. The man was still trying to get in the league a few days ago.
That has.
So it's like maybe that's why he hasn't got in, because he hasn't gotten in because the people are probably like, "Do you still want to play?" And he's still on some, yeah, I'd be down to it. So it's like you can never let him in because he keeps like flirting with the fact that, yeah, I might come back. It's like Tom Brady should be able to be in the Hall of Fame within the next day or two, but he obviously can't be because you never
Rules.
really know. He says he's done, but you never really know. So
He,
with To, we got to make sure To is fully done. He'll get in, bro. I don't think To is not finna not be in the Hall of Fame. He will be at some point. It's
Yeah.
just we gotta wait till he's really, really done saying I'm done playing football. Like
Nah,
even at the semi-pro level. Because when was the last time you seen a dude like even in basketball? When was the last time you seen a dude get into the Hall of Fame, but he's still hooping overseas? No,
for
no.
real.
Your whole career is done, and the man still be doing like semi-pro stuff. What they gonna give him his time? So
Man, yeah, you might be right. I'm trying to think. I think there was somebody back in like on some 80s, 90s type stuff, but I'm like, bro,
yeah,
I can't
and that's a completely different era.
believe
That's a
it.
completely different era. Yeah,
Like the only reason I would say Tim is because more like his personality was stuff what made people forget about his production on the field. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Forget about him as a player, the what he gave out for the team and stuff. Like, oh, he ain't put himself always in the best situation. But when it came down to like saying like, nah, bro, I'll come out here to play this game and I'm gonna do me, like, bro, like there was a lot like when we talk about I think what Playboy was talking about personality and to seeing his personality on the field was like, oh, bro, that was crazy. Like my uncle was putting me on saying, bro, like you ever like talking about receiver? Hey man, this is my guy right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I got and playing ESPN 2K5 until I think that was on him and somebody else was the only players was 100. That was one of my favorite games as a kid. And getting to watch that too was just like, yeah, man, this man's out here telling you, nah, Mara, I'm going to get your ass. I'm going to beat you and then beat you by telling you the route. Like that was some like, whoa, what the heck? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, we running that angry, being that in your face about it, and being productive is hard. You don't see that. You'll see people being hard, but they might not be so hard in your face about it because those moments when it don't show up, now everybody's looking for the cameras. You know what I mean? Because there's so many cameras out today. But even back then, he was looking for the spotlight, and he never tried to shy away from it. Even still, not like he's trying to go back to the league. Like, bro, there's nothing else you should be able to do. Just go home. Like, do not pick up the ball. Don't put on no pads. Go play some basketball or something. Go play some golf. But you got that kind of dog that says, "Nah, bro, I could still come out here and do it." In the game, it's more safer than not. I will say it's more safer for a receiver now than back then because you can't just tear a receiver head off no more when he's defensive receiver. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
It's safe. The game is safer for everybody now at this
Yeah,
point.
high key. Like I mean, hell, even like offensive linemen and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like you can't just no, even defensive linemen, not really. You can't just chop block. There's a way you gotta go at like if you're gonna block the defender, there's a way you gotta go about. You can't just go out and say, "Nah, we're just gonna get him out to play." Like, I want to just be able to let men be men. You can't just do that no more. You can't just hold and grab. Like, yeah, they'll let you get away with it time and time, but after a while, at some point, they're going to call it. They're going to say, "Hey, nah, bro, you can't just go over here and do that." You know what I mean? You can't just rip through a dude or just push past a dude or go straight for a man's knees. Like we want to see y'all play. Like, yeah, you can do that and get the player off of you, like for game time moments where it's like, okay, this is prime time. But when it's just like the regular season is not really mattering until a lot of things they'll let a lot of things slide that could still help players be like the next week. Now I felt that hit the next week. You know what I'm saying? But the game now, you can't just hit a receiver in the middle just because he's there. Like, oh, you caught that thing in the middle. I can't punish you. I'm gonna bring you down, but you can't do no Ray Lewis like that. That's no flag. Eject that man. Get him out of here. Send him home. Start the bus up. Don't let him come back in the arena like that. See, you can't do that. And I don't. If you're after a certain age, as any kind of skill position for any sport, after a while, of course, you're going to be too old to actually perform and continue to produce, especially at the high clip. If you were at a high clip, there's just things that just does not happen like that. So I mean, for me, especially coming from a dependent receiver and seeing how he carried himself, for me as a receiver, that's kind of how I thought of like when I'm playing the game or I'm making Madden and I'm making a receiver or making players different position and tip like that. I wanted that flashiness, you know. So I wanted that. I want my player to run to the star and be like, yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that. That was for me when I thought of receivers and I saw Steve Smith to see the Megatrons. You know what I'm saying? There's different animals, but there was just a man. That man told you what he gonna do, and he did it, bro. It was just different to me, and that's just me, though. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
understand.
that's a valid standpoint because it's kind of similar with the Steve Smith thing about how they were going to say what they were going to say and do what they were going to do. So
Yeah,
it's just hard for me to say he's underrated because I'm like, he's not a guy who's gonna be out of people. When I say underrated, I'm thinking when people list the top 10 of wide receivers, they might forget your name. They're not gonna forget T.O. They're not gonna forget Ocho Cinco. You know what I'm saying? It's like those guys are too. They're not gonna forget what's the dude? They're not gonna forget Randy Moss. It's like you don't forget those guys. But it's like Steve Smith, you might forget him. So when I think of underrated, I also think of forgotten in a sense of we not like really you're not naming him in your top five like that. People are going to put To in the top five most likely. So
I mean,
that's
if you
why I say it's hard to say he's underrated.
that paying because now these kids coming up, they're gonna start saying the OBJs, the
Well,
Julio.
I'm not. We not. I'm not talking to kids. I'm talking about me and you, like me, like people of our generation. Like when
Yeah,
I really talk, when I'm relatively talking about sports, I tend to only. I don't like if people have been listening to this podcast for a minute. I don't really like to speak heavily on the greatness of people before me because it's like I wasn't really there to witness it, so I can't really say it was great. I could just go off of people that are older than me saying it was great because the highlights can show me one thing, but were people talking about it the next day at work? Were people talking about it the next day at the lunch table? I remember me growing up, we was talking about LeBron and the Heat at that lunch table every day, Rouse. Every single day after
yeah.
Spanish. If we was sitting there not paying attention to Spanish classes, we was making top fives of, oh, would you have the Heat or the Thunder or the Spurs or all these different teams or James Harden or with the Houston, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it was a different era for us. So it's like when it comes to greatness, I tend to really only speak on the people that I remember grew up watching and the impact they had on me as I grew up. So these kids, they're gonna have a different top five because they probably never seen a single Steve Smith play live. They've never even definitely not. If you haven't seen Steve Smith, you definitely haven't seen To because I think To was in the league longer than Smith.
Not for
Well, no,
real.
he got in earlier. I think To's career lasted longer. He got in earlier and he left later. Steve Smith's career, I wouldn't say it was short, but it just different lengths.
Yeah, it was a
But yeah,
different.
so it's like these kids, they don't know that. They know Tyreek Hill, they know Cooper Cup, Devontae Adams, they know
They,
CC Jefferson,
yeah, AJ,
who's a say
they did
again?
the AJ Browns, the Cooper.
Yeah, they know AJ Brown. They might know like they might know a few OGs like Larry Fitzgerald or AJ Green because they were kind of on the back end of the careers as this as their generation is coming up. So other than that, they don't really know a lot of the other guys because I can't really name guys from Julio as well. Julio's part of that. Like okay, maybe they might know him still, but there's only a few players that are still in the league that I'm going back to when we were kids, basically high school, middle school, those guys that were playing. So yeah,
Not for
it's going to be a different list regardless. But I'm referring to people in like our generation. Who would we forget one day and be like, oh yeah, because I'm pretty sure the guys in that video when they were talking about Anquan Bolden, that's another guy in that era too. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't belong in this era, so of course these kids aren't gonna
Percy
rate him
Harvin.
properly.
I was say,
Yeah,
folks, forget about a Percy Harvin for a big fast. We ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? He was
yeah, yeah. My guy.
dynamic.
My
He was,
boy Percy was nice, man. Real
man,
nice.
what?
Just could not stay off the weed.
Bro. And he was a Miami boy too. Hey man, you can take the Florida
Yeah,
out the man.
them
You can't
Florida
take the
boys.
man.
Yeah, I'm about to say them Gators, man.
Man, not a Florida
They
boy.
sure get crazy.
Hey, not for real. Then like, who's another? I'm trying to think of like, who's another receiver I used to love playing with? Because I wish Madden would kind of adopt that ESPN feel. You may not. They don't even have to do that first person POV. Like if you're doing your my player, you play it in your helmet and type. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got to do all that. They just brought in the halftime shows, the halftime reports. Bro, them things were lit. Like, oh my god, bro, they was so incredible. They actually played your in game highlights. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, like if you play it like running back, they showing some of your runs, some of your passes, some of the key blocks you made and stuff. Then they showing across the league and some of the other games playing on the same night. Bro,
Yeah.
it was
They used
interactive.
to do that, man. They used to do that with a little bit of NCAA. Not the last one that they made, but like the ones before that, like 12 and 11 or something like that. They used to do those too. So
That
yeah, they used to do that stuff, man. 2K did it a few years ago too. One of the 2Ks they were doing that, and I think they still do it. But I haven't owned a Madden in a couple of years, so I don't really know what they do. I usually skip through it because the game of football is so long anyway. It's like, oh, bro, I'm not gonna watch this. It's like, bro, it took us forever to get to halftime. I'm not gonna watch this little thing
Like,
that they.
you still in game mode, nigga. I'm in coach mode right now. I'm gonna take
Yeah,
the plays ahead right now.
yeah,
We down the score. We down the score.
yeah,
I don't care about this right now. Forget this.
yep,
Do
for
we got the
real.
ball at the half? Do we get the ball at the half? And especially
And
doing
you don't even remember. Shoot, it's been a
stop.
minute.
Like I love Madden. I love NCAA too, but I love NCAA a little more because it was just anything could just happen in Madden.
It
You
was
as
more
you can
fluid.
get
It
hit
was
with some
it was more
PA.
fluid in the sense of you could just play anybody. You could be like, I'm gonna play with the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. Like
Real,
who? But you
real.
could have fun with them compared to here where it's like, go ahead and play with the Jaguars if you want. Just get beat off the sticks.
Felt disrespected when that was 2K14 and the nigga came in in my dorm talking about some I'm picking the Charlotte Bobcats and I'm whipping your ass. Get the Miami Heat. And I was like, what? What? You gonna come in my room saying this? What? Man,
Well, see,
no.
now I think that was different. 2K, you could catch somebody slipping in 2K, but it felt like Madden,
No,
like the
that was
distance
a 7
between
win year
good
by the
teams and bad
Bobcats.
teams.
That
No.
was that was a 7 win year by the Bobcats with
Oh, you said the
LeBron.
Bobcats, not the Hornets. Oh, okay.
So,
Speaking of the Bobcats, did you see Kimba?
yeah, he had
He's headed
Kimba.
overseas.
Yeah, Kemba and
He's
Jimmy
headed overseas, bro.
Henderson. That was it. I was just like, you really want to do this? You really do you
Yeah.
want Ray Allen to come off the bench? Do you really want him to come off the bench? You want this? And it was just over by the first quarter. It was over in the first quarter. It was just over, Jamal. I didn't even use LeBron. Didn't even use LeBron.
Sheesh.
I had him on the bench.
Speaking of Kimba Walker, did you see him? He's headed overseas now.
Oh, where's the attitude?
I don't know. I don't know those teams overseas. It just said something overseas, and I'm like, all right, cool. That's cool for
I
him.
mean,
Hey,
that's
ball
yeah.
out, learn a new language, learn a new culture,
Yeah, he's
make
gonna
some
ball
extra money.
out there, make his money into, and it's a possible someone may try and sign him
No,
out of
nah,
playoffs.
don't do it. I don't think he needs to do it. No, no. It's a hit or miss with that. When dudes go and ball internationally and they come back, it's like you either have to ball even better or they're gonna be like, oh, you stay back there. And it's like, bro, don't even waste your time and energy doing that. Just stay out there, chill out, get your extra money. Because at this point, what else? Like Kimba, what? You know what? Hey,
Well,
that's in
he
his
got, he
life.
got, he
He
got, he
does what
got
he wants to do.
paid.
Me personally, if I get the opportunity to go play overseas, I'm gonna just go ball out over there and beat it and be good. I'm gonna just be like, all right, cool, and then I'll just retire and then come back home. I'm
That's
not finna sit here going overseas just so I can get a job back home. To me, it just sounds backwards to me. It's like I gotta go to another country to prove that I'm worthy of playing in my own country. It's like, golly, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know.
and it's kind of I heard a weird stat. I gotta go find the exact stat so I could break it down before someone for next week. But it was because you know how we talk about like small guards. There's a reason why small guards. There's a lot of great small guards that can score, but they don't have playoff success. And we'll say, oh, it's because of defense, but also it's also too 6'2", 6'3", and under, most of these guards, it's harder for them to win the playoffs because it's grindy. It's gonna be a grind. It's not just it's like a regular season where it's playing free loose. We're just gonna allow you to play free. A lot of times you're gonna play constrict. You're trying to put them in the post. You're trying to slow the game down so they can't keep the game going up and down. Like when you got a point guard typically, especially one that's the starting point guard saying to being the leader of the team, I think the only point guard to average more than 5 assists and win the title was like Magic, but Magic's like 6'9". And I'm trying to think like I think like Zeke averaged like maybe like 4.5, maybe 5 assists or something like that. Is he
Who?
Isaiah Thomas. Detroit.
Oh,
My bad, I said his nickname. But like I think he averaged like 4 or 5 assists, if I remember correctly. But it's like a weird stat where basically like your point guard, if your point guard is your best player, they typically are probably going to be putting up the most points. And if they're not, like Chris Paul, like his turnover assist, so his turnover to assist ratio is so great, it doesn't compute to the playoffs. One of the injuries, and two because that style of play for a point guard apparently doesn't hold up. I mean, look at John Stockton. He literally led like I forgot he's not up there in points, but he leads league in assists. But all those assists and all those times he got other people buckets, he was getting 15. It didn't get him no title. You know what I'm saying? It got him there twice, but he left out short. Look at Chris Paul. Look at Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's a little weird when you start looking at some of the biggest and best names. When you start thinking with the point guards, and you start looking at that like Steph debunks it, but he's not leading his team in the assist column. That's Draymond. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of why it's like Steph can be in that argument, but it's kind of like a little weird till you start looking in the actual numbers. You start saying, "Huh, yeah, it's a like." You know how when folks start saying, "Oh, who's better, Kyrie or Steph?" and folks will be like, "Who's a better point guard?" Be like, "Oh, well, if you're talking about overall guard play, it maybe it'd be Kyrie, but shooting, of course, is gonna be Steph." You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of we try to put that in rounds. You know what I'm saying? Give it a variable to try and make it say, "Oh, make it seem more fair," and say, "Oh, this is why." But a lot of times we hear that Derrick Roses, Kemba Walkers, Damian Lillards, when you're the guy, more than likely that you're not going to get too far in the playoffs. You're gonna have a lot of great success. You're gonna get paid, but knees may go, injuries may go. You're not gonna be a deep Kyle Lowry. Shit, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like these guys do not come out here like when they win, they're not the star that we knew who they were. You know what I mean? Kyle Lowry was not the same Kyle Lowry when he went with Kawhi. You know what I mean? He was there, he was used, but he wasn't the same impactful
That's
player as
valid.
Mar DeRozan. So it's kind of like it's a little weird, bro. Like I, don't, I mean, tell me what you think about that. Cause I saw that and I was like, bro, that's a little. I don't know. I was thought it was a little bit misleading, but then it's like you kind of looking at thinking some of the starting teams that won the champion. I mean, Rondo. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, Rondo, Derek Fisher, Tony Parker.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree to it. You've never really seen it really happen with that, So yeah, I feel like I've mentioned that before, but now that you brought it up again, it does make me really think a little bit deeper into it. It's just how it is, unfortunately.
Yeah,
The game is it like you said, it just stems to the playoffs defense and everything like that. It's going to take a huge factor into it, and it's kind of the same when it comes to the athletic jumping out the gym point guards, the Russell Westbrooks, the Derrick Roses. They're great and they're fun to watch, but where's the high success in the playoffs? It's the same with. Feel like it's going to be the same for Ja and Lamelo as well. It's like they're both athletic, but it's like is it going to total the wins? So I think that's another narrative too. So it seems like to me like the best point guards that are winning are the average, are the balance. I wouldn't even say average, the balanced point guards, do it all. It's kind of like a Jamal Murray, you know what I'm saying, in this past season. He's just an average point guard. There's nothing that you know him for. It's just you just know him to be a good point guard. And
a
it
good
goes
point
back to even with Milwaukee with Drew Holiday. Good point guard. Nothing
guard.
that truly stands out about him. You know what I'm saying? So what's another team?
Oh,
Steph is different. He's an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? That's different. Who else? Kyle Lowry. When Toronto won, what's really, really good about him? Just nothing. It's just he's a balanced point guard. What's another team? Uh Tony Parker. He's a balanced point guard with this when the Spurs were winning all the time. And that's really most of the teams that I could really name outside of any team that LeBron. Okay, yeah, I was about to say before we even say Mario Chalmers. Outside of any team LeBron or Steph was on. If we take out the Heat teams and the Cavalier teams and the Laker teams LeBron was on, and we take out the Golden State Warrior teams, the teams that have won a championship had a balanced point guard. We'll just
I
go off that.
I think that's the form. I think that's becoming a new formula because now if you have a big that could do like a Nikola Jokic and he could actually facilitate the offense, you don't necessarily need your point guard to make everyone else better. Now your point guard could just play their game. If you have an offensive minded guard, they can just play downhill, and if you collapse to cut them off from getting to the paint, all they got to do is make the easy pass. Someone's gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
if the game has like how we were talking about skill positions that wide receivers can be used more and not just in different way in the passing game and the running game. Tight ends not just used to block; they used to be more as the receivers now. You know what I'm saying? The game has evolved and changed, but now the point guards can actually they're really not even like point guards used to be thinking as the point guard, the point general. Like I'm supposed to make everybody go to the X's and O's, but now they're just They can be athletic, relentless, going to the basket, and if they have the ability to kill you from deep, that makes them even a greater threat, especially as long as you can have them a solid big that could open the court or let alone just facilitate. Like imagine if Jaw had instead of Steven Adams a Pau Gasol. You know what I'm saying? That's a different story. That's a different game. You know what I mean? Like I love Steven Adams. I love what they got going on over there. But if you did were to get them a big to where Jaw doesn't have to get everyone to the right spots, you have someone else that could do that and get them a nice bucket on their own too. That would be because you already got Desmond Bain. You who's setting the screens to get them open when they're trying to come off? You know what I'm saying, or getting them off the back screens and stuff like that, bro. That's the stuff I be thinking about when it be like, yo, like these guards now. When you look at their assets and what they could do, and if you talk about looking at some of the templates, someone's like, oh, this player's like this X, Y, and Z. Kind of crazy to me how we don't kind of put these formulas together and say, oh, this is what the type of player he really needs for him to thrive and succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, that's real, man. It's like the point guards, it's really changing, and I think people are seeing that because, but actually, I think people aren't seeing it because they're so focused on the Jaws and the old Derrick Roses and the Russell Westbrooks and the Lamelos and how they attract so many eyes, and then when they lose, we're like, whoa, what? It's like, well, look at the blueprint for what really wins outside of Steph and LeBron's teams. The teams that have won rings have a balanced point guard. They don't have this and then even if you look at LeBron and Steph's team, maybe you could say Kyrie, but LeBron never had a stellar point guard like that. And then of course Steph Curry, this different type of offense. So, but even
And
then, I'll just take those two out of there. Taking those two out of there, just looking at in our generation, of course, in our generation, the teams that have won did not have an elite point guard. So
real lot. The new game is the only way to win and not have you to have the balanced point guard is to have you a point forward. Yeah, the Drake step like LeBron was the point forward of the team. He was the point guard, but he was the facilitator. He like got Tyree, you keep going, and I'm gonna get my shots regardless how I'm gonna get my shots. Steph Curry, Draymond got the rest of the team going. Like they literally read like a free motion offense. That's their whole offense, and Dre was the one that got the I'm gonna make sure when I get this ball, if I don't have this ball, I'm gonna get Steph Curry open. You know what I'm saying? That's the point guard saying, nah, I'm gonna make sure you're gonna have your spots open where you need to be. And that's the only way to really win now. If you don't have that, like the Tony Parkers and those days, the Tony Parker, the Isaiah Thomases, if you don't have a guard of a complete package where they can play both sides and not necessarily completely dominate the game and the team success, that's where it's like the championship DNA comes from. Not necessarily just the star power. Oh, look at him doing the N1 crossovers. The Allen Iverson almost had a chance to break all that, like real live, but he only got a game. You know what I mean? It's hard for a 6'3" and under guard to have a true big impact on the NBA simply because of your 6'3" is smaller than 6'4", 5'6". You know what I'm saying? It's just there's nothing you can do to get bigger. Your skill, your will, all that's still the same, but you got other guys on top of you trying to keep you from getting to your spots. Some point is just going to keep you from getting there, especially when you keep attacking and you don't have nobody to make it easier for yourself to attack. And that's what we got to see with like Ja Morant. You know what I'm saying? Like Ja, like yeah, you got Desmond Bain, but a lot of times like Ja go over and let Desmond cook, or it's kind of like they're not as bad as Jason and Jalen, but it's kind of low key. Sometimes you see like a little your turn, my turn because they don't have someone else to. Okay, give it to me in the middle, and I'm gonna reverse this ball and I'm gonna flip it to the other side of the court to get to an open shot. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that. Like they got guys that could get shots for themselves, but they're not looking to play initiate, and that's what you need, especially when you have a young athletic guard. Like that's the DNA success for real, for real. And if you're a team now trying to build, that's what you want to do. Portland, all they had to do was find them with Draymond Green. They already had their David Lee and LaMarcus Aldridge. That's all they had to do, and they couldn't do it. That's why I kind of look at with the league now. It's like there's gonna be a lot more, especially for us American players. We're gonna have the card position a lot. It's gonna be the other positions that I think that the international players are going to dominate as we see LeBron and KD walk out the league. You feel
yeah,
me?
that's true. That's valid. That's definitely valid. They're going to be dominating the leagues. They kind of low key have already, but
Yeah,
who? Oh
this guy.
boy, you know what I'm saying. So we'll see the future. That's the future of the NBA, and that's just what the NBA is bringing in anyway. They're bringing in these guys, so
I
and
think
they're being successful.
I think Westbrook broke that archetype of that 6'1" to like 6'2" point guard. Like it went from Rajon Rondo to being a facilitator, getting everybody shot, passing the ball around, being able to be that classic Chris Paul like pick and roll point guard to okay, I could score first point guard. Like it went from Rajon Rondo to Westbrook. I think Westbrook like broke that mold because I think Westbrook is like 6'4", 6'5". He's more athletic. He looks for his shot, and he still could facilitate, run the point, run the pick and roll. But like over years, it just kind of evolved. Like the position just evolved into that taller, more scoring first point guard archetype.
Oh yeah, exactly right with that, bro. Because
Yeah, that's a
him
good
and D
point.
Rose changed the entire. Like they wasn't coming in and for lane. Like Kyrie is so great because he's the greatest below the rim finisher. When we come to the above the rim, like oh yeah, I'm going to finish this play by hell or high water. There are times where you go back and watch D Rose's highlights of Russell Westbrook, and you'll be like, how the hell you let him come from the left? I'm over here driving through two bodies, weave through you. Like D Rose is more graceful because he'll go up and under and finish on the whole other side, contorting his
Yeah, he
body.
had a little bit more finesse, but Westbrook was just
Russ
more
is just
power.
gonna
Like
put your head
more
in.
contact at the rim, able to finish through contact. Like you
Yeah,
said, finish over the top, dunk on big men. Like the position just evolved to where it's not you pass first. It's like that's just one part of the game.
and that, like you, the
It's
like
just
I
like
don't
more.
think
It's just more flavor. It's like chicken wings. Like you got lemon pepper now. Like it used to just be classic buffalo. Now you got lemon pepper. You got zesty. You got parmesan.
the
It's
hot
just more
Carolina
flavors,
barbecue,
huh?
that hot Carolina barbecue, got different forms of
Yeah,
barbecue
it's
now.
just different flavors now, and it's like now teams and owners are looking at okay, we need a more athletic because we want all the possibilities of what he could bring. You know.
Heck yeah, we want to run the floor and play fast-paced offense because that's sexy. We don't want to just play slow and defensive or play through our bigger wings or our big men because no cap. Even though we got Jokic and Giannis and Joel Embiid, like bigs in general in the NBA or in any league, bro. Like the big men in the NFL for the linemen, they generally don't do well in terms of sales in their market compared to like the smaller, relatable people that we be like the wide receivers or the Steph Currys, the you know what I'm saying? We'll be like, dang, like I could see him be like, oh yeah, I could relate to him more than seeing the big 7 foot dude. Like
Yeah,
dude,
because
you
most people that watch the game, they're not 7 foot. Like most of them are more to that height of Chris Paul, Stephen Curry, Westbrook. Like you're more likely to catch a regular person that's 6 foot walking the street than catch a 7 footer walking the street.
swear to God.
Like you said, it's just more relatable. So people, even like, is they more relatable as far as stature and height, and more relatable as far as play style. Cause that's how Steph Curry play. It's like how a lot of people play in their head, like in real life, like shooting, dribbling, handles, passing.
Real.
So
Because everyone saw Steph Curry and was like, dang, I could start learning to shoot threes to become like that, to be able to shoot from deep. But I can't learn to be 6'8" and be LeBron. That's why Steph Curry changed the game. That's why there's only certain players change the game and they are influenced. Like LeBron is great because he withstand like 2 or 3 changes in the league while being in the league. But he didn't change it. He changed with the game. That's why he's great. But Steph changed it because people were like, dang, I can't drive in like Derrick Rose and dunk on somebody. I can't Euro in the paint like D Wade or Manu Ginobili. I can't do nothing, but I could try and learn a floater. I ain't got the greatest dribble, but if I get hot from three, you gonna have to respect me. And that's what made it to where it's like, oh, everyone could look at stuff, and he became such a big star, rightfully so. And Bron is who he is, but if he wasn't as the productive on the court, we wouldn't have even been like, oh, he's up there with the MJ discussion. We only put him up there because he's one of one. He's not like another player that we've seen in any hit leaguer history. So that's why it's like, okay, he's there, but we don't even think of him as being that influential simply because we can't do what he do. Like, there ain't nobody jumping the dunk in my elbow above the rim. Like, nobody's doing nobody's doing that. You wish you could. That's like some MJ type, like the Space Jam. But all those times at Prime Bron in Miami, did anyone ever see a play and thought, dang, I could do that one day?
Yeah, that just it just goes down to like the physical part of the game. But like most people not, like you said, most people not 6 foot. I mean 6'8", built like that. Like you gotta like even if you work out in the gym every day, like just naturally you're not gonna have that 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 build. So
Yeah, that
yeah,
builder or the foot.
just made the game more relatable. Also
Yeah.
made it kind of toxic. But yeah, I just wanted to add that. Um, just to wrap it up. Back to
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
Jamel.
most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. That's enough NBA for right now. Them boys, they on the off season. We need to be on the off season with the NBA. Ain't
That's
nobody
what
watching no damn. Because I don't even think summer league going on anymore. Is that still going on?
No,
I
summer leave over.
think it's
Summer leave
done.
will
It's
be
over.
back up.
Yeah, it's like ain't even nothing. Ain't a ball getting bounced. Pause. Right now, I got to take over for Pat with the pause
Yeah,
while
for
he
real.
out
Hey,
celebrating
yo.
his birthday.
But
So yeah, there ain't nothing going on in basketball world. But right now I'm gonna move on to something that is going on. It is my soccer. The man Messi himself is finally playing here in the United States. And right now we gonna watch. I'm gonna show the video, but due to copyright, it's probably gonna get flagged. So basically, you guys will just hear the analysis of the video, but I'm gonna show the boys the the highlights of the match. So yeah, all right. So we back. We just finished watching some of the Messi highlights. Just talking a little bit about it. We didn't want to get any copyright off the extensive length of the clip, so we was just
yes,
gonna
sir.
save what we said for right now. We got to keep it P with everything.
We
So
gotta keep it
yeah,
monetized. Monetize the
facts.
game.
Got to keep the monetary to keep getting the monetary. You know what I mean? But
Comment on your TikTok. Comment on our YouTube.
facts.
If
Got to
you
comment on it.
if you ever play goalie, we were just watching like what's the name of the team? Jamel.
Inter
We,
Miami
we was watching
goalie. I
in
forgot his
Miami,
name.
some clutch saves. They goalie.
Yeah,
Comment if you ever played or if you have any experience as a goalie. We'd be interested. We like the engagement.
facts. We want to talk about it, and especially if you got some, because I know there's a lot of Ronaldo fans really salty right now. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all want to, if you got something to say, go ahead and say it. I'm open to it because I love Ronaldo. He's number two. You know what I'm saying? But he's not number one.
I'm
And I
not
know a
gonna
lot of
lie to you, Bell. I think Messi the GOAT. I think he number one.
yeah, he is number one, man. They even gave him that before he got the World Cup because a lot of people were like, "Oh, he can't get it because he doesn't have a World Cup," and it's like, well,
Man, it
Ronaldo
was
didn't
a
for
lot of
long got one.
salty Ronaldo fans when he won that cup.
He got that cup, and
Man,
he's flexing. You know what I'm saying? Because Ronaldo moved to Saudi for the 1.6 for the 1 billion or whatever, however much. Messi got offered a little bit more. He got
remember
offered
we
the Billy
talked about
too.
that? I think
Exactly.
episode
Yeah.
three,
When the
four.
first down, he said,
Mm-hmm.
"Nah, I'm good. I'd rather take the ownership of the team, the ownership of the streaming shares, the ownership because because I'm gonna be honest, you had to pay to watch that game. That game was not free because the MLS is sponsored with Apple TV, and you got to pay it's basically like some league pass thing. There's no way like last year you could watch MLS on ESPN or whatever, but now starting this season, MLS has been like, nah. To me that
Price
makes me
went
think.
up.
To me that makes me think they knew they was getting Messi before the season started. They had to
Oh
know
yeah,
because it's like, bro,
they
how do
probably
you,
had
like
that
why
price
would you?
negotiation.
Because the MLS is not even really that popular. So it's like for you to go from a league that was not really popular when you could watch it for free to require people to pay $15 a month to watch it. And I did it for like the first week. I mean, I did it for like the first month because it was the opening season, but then I turned it off. And then out of nowhere, the rumors came up. I was like, oh, Messi might be coming back. I said, I'll give him 15 again now. I'll give him some money.
Yep, and
That's cool.
they got all the eyes. They got that all the recognition coming from Messi being in the league, and
Messi getting a share of that. He getting a share of the Apple TV
he
shares.
eating. Yeah, he eating.
He's signed with Adidas. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's blown up Adidas more than any NBA basketball player has in the past 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Messi has really put Adidas on the map in terms of soccer. Like Nike, a lot of people thought soccer belonged to Nike, but it really belongs to Adidas.
Oh
So
no,
it's
it definitely
big.
belongs to Adidas. Adidas,
You
like
know what I'm saying?
Nike,
Yeah,
cool with the cleats, but as far as like the socks, track pants, the Adidas pants, the Adidas
the Adidas
jerseys,
pants, the
man,
kit,
Adidas
the
got
soccer
it's some.
balls, Adidas got it. Exactly. And
Yeah,
that's because of Messi. You know what I'm saying? Messi signed. Ronaldo went to Nike. Messi went to Adidas. Look which brand is bigger for soccer. It's Adidas. So he's getting shares out of that. He's getting shares out of the team. He's getting shares out of the streaming.
he
That's going
got
to be more
equity in
longevity than
every. He
the
got
billing.
equity in
Billing.
every business that he's participating in, as opposed to
Exactly.
Ronaldo just get the big contract, like he just got the big bag.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's like, and apparently he had to apparently Ronaldo also said this past weekend, like, oh, the Saudi league is more competitive than MLS. It's like, well, you don't got to say that. It's like, why are you saying that, bro? Like, why you obviously that probably your PR team over in Saudi Arabia said you needed to say something about it. Because let's be
Yeah,
honest, I can't name a single professional Saudi team. Not a lot of other people can. Nobody really watches their games. They can afford Ronaldo because they got the money to, but they don't have the actual uh
me
well,
eyeball
you
authority.
know Saudi Arabia, that's right next to Dubai. They got the bag, like
Yeah, they got the bag
it's
for
just
him, but they
like
don't have the eyes. They don't have the
they
international
don't,
eyes
yeah, they
yet.
don't got the eyes, they don't got the viewership. That's just like a prevalent artist like Beyonce or Future or like one of these big time artists. They go over there and they gonna get millions to perform, but at the same time, you're not gonna get that same love if you perform in the States. You're
Yeah,
not
and
gonna
he's getting a lot of love
keep
here,
getting that
man. The
love.
man, like, we haven't really seen a lot of stuff about Ronaldo being out there in Saudi Arabia. We haven't seen a lot of things about that. We just know he's playing over there. But with Messi, they showing this man in Publix and shit. He chilling, getting some, getting the Cubanos and all that shit,
Yeah,
just doing his
yeah, my
thing.
boy Messi in
Listen,
them streets.
yeah, he out here, he living. Next thing you know, he gonna be on the beach. Next thing you know, he gonna be with Brady up in Tampa. You know what I'm saying?
He
He finna
gonna
be
be in
all over the
club
state of
live.
Florida.
He gonna be in club live, popping
He
bottles.
gonna be in
Yes,
the
sir.
Wawa, ain't it? He gonna be on
Uh-huh.
South Beach. He gonna be at the Wawas. You know what I'm
He gonna
saying?
be at
Messi
the
finna
finger
be all over the spot.
right off Ocean Drive. Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
know.
he gonna be at bro. When he gets to the Miami Heat games, boy,
Oh
wait
yeah,
till he gets to
it's
the
over.
Miami Heat games. He might. I don't know if he'll go to a Dolphins game. See, a lot of soccer players they mess with basketball, like Vinicius Jr. does. Mbappe came over to watch like KD play with the Nets or something like that.
Yeah,
He came to watch them play. So it's like soccer messes with basketball, but I don't know if soccer's gonna
soccer
really
and
mess with American
basketball
football
overlap because they got that international
though.
viewership.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Football is more in the states, like it's big in the.
Yeah.
But when you go outside the states, football it's like whatever.
Yeah.
It's really soccer and
He
basketball.
might mess with it because I just saw something where he's doing like a Budweiser commercial and it's like, come on, we already know he's not sipping no damn beer, but it's just funny because he's like, hey, he already tapping into American culture
And my
with the
boy
beer.
Messi picking up
You know
all
what
the
I'm saying?
bags, man.
And I think it was Bud Light. I can't remember, but it was one of the beer companies. I saw it this morning on social media. So I'm like, okay, maybe he might tap into the other, like the real part of American culture. You know what I'm saying? Like the beers, the American football, the burgers, like all that type of stuff, like that type of American culture
Might
compared
mess
to,
around, see a Messi and McDonald's collab or something like that, bro. Like for real, for real.
The
yeah,
Messi
Play around with LeBron, Blaze Pizza in his mug.
facts. Because he messing with LeBron too, and it's like, hey, now next thing you know, he might be out in LA too. Just be like, hey, I'm gonna go to LA for the weekend.
Still up there in South Beach. Don't forget, yeah, man. He got avenues. He got avenues to really get into. You can literally get active with any and everybody.
he in that
But
market. Now he
Hold on. The man still don't speak no English. That's the
He
crazy
don't.
part. He don't speak. I'm sitting there like, I know LeBron don't know no damn
He straight about that
Spanish.
foot.
I know LeBron don't know no damn
Hey,
Spanish. So how?
hey, looking at.
Them boys probably just be smiling and laughing because they just know they on the same level. That's it. They don't need to talk. They just smile and laugh like, yeah, we
Just
the
greatness,
goats.
recognize greatness.
Exactly. I don't even think they really even talk. So that's cool though. And something else about him. What was it? Oh yeah, about him not speaking English. I think that's also going to be a huge because a lot of the Hispanic population here doesn't watch MLS because like a lot of people think the MLS is like it's a retirement league for like other professional players from overseas or it's for just dudes that aren't really like good enough to play in Europe or in other parts of the world. So I think that's also he's going to attract more Spanish speaking soccer players because now I look at Inter Miami's Instagram. It has grown to 10 million followers now, but a lot of their posts are in Spanish now too. Like they'll do one post in English, then the next post will be in all Spanish. So it's like they're also tapping in to be like, hey, let's also bring in more, more of that culture. Not just Messi coming here and changing the culture for soccer in the eyes of Americans, because he's doing that by just coming over here, but also by coming over here, you're changing American soccer in the eyes of people outside of America. So he's doing it both. He's changing how we view soccer as Americans, and he's changing how outsiders view American soccer. He's changing the viewership of all of that. And it's not more, and it's like, because I'm gonna be honest with you, nobody really even knows how much money he's getting. Like if I look it up, but it. Ronaldo, he's getting $1 billion. But with Messi, it's like we don't even know. We're not even thinking about the money. We're just thinking about the impact that he's doing as this move, and it's gonna really open up. And he picked the right city to go to. You know what I'm saying? Miami of all places. So it's got the South American culture. So
But that he came to the right city that came over to get himself marketed out there. It ain't like he came over here to no Indiana. You know,
no, he ain't going to no Indiana.
you get straight out here to the South Beach. You got the tourists coming
Yeah,
down.
the only other
Eh,
teams
Don't
they
let
got
him.
around there, they
I
have
was
a
about to
team in
say,
Orlando.
well, go ahead, Mel.
No, I was saying the only other teams in Florida they have is Orlando has a team, and then of course he could go. New York has two teams, but it's a different type of Spanish. It's more Afro Latina vibe than it is like his type of Argentinian Spanish. And then of course out west you got the teams in like I think Phoenix. I don't know if Arizona has a team, but I know LA has a couple teams. But that's Mexican culture. It's completely different from Argentinian and Spanish.
Yeah,
So
I think
so
shoot, the
yeah.
way
the
it's looking,
numbers though in Atlanta. I think Atlanta.
The next game is Tuesday in Atlanta too.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
that's
crazy
about to
thing.
be ton.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta. And this might be the first game that he starts. So I think this game gonna be really the one that bring a lot of eyes too.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying? And
catch my boy Messi in Magic City, man. Yeah,
oh
Messi in
my
Magic City.
god, oh my god,
both.
he's getting 11 for lose. He's getting 11 for
Man,
lose
that's
on the
that's
on.
that's the title of this episode. Messi in Magic City.
I love it, love
Rest
it.
followers.
Oh
Hey, he
man.
ain't heard it here first. He heard it here first. Was heavily opinionated.
Yeah, get my boy.
Facts,
We
facts.
petitioning Messi in Magic City, man. Right next to Future. You know what I'm saying? Free bands, free kicks, free
Hey, hey,
Facts.
penalty kicks.
you you can slide up there with Future, but you know what I'm saying. Just don't slide up there with just no anybody, bro. Just don't do that message. Just watch who you going out there with. Just watch who you
Oh
going
no,
out there with.
he gonna be moving with security. You know they gonna protect Messi.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
we
Messi.
set it
Yeah,
down.
no.
Just shut the
Messi
whole
ain't even
place down.
scared.
It's fine.
Because you
It's
see Messi in the streets, he not really like, he's small. He's a small dude, you know what I'm saying? So like he gotta have
fine.
security. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Did y'all see that clip with Bryce or something like that? When a dude just walked up and said, "Man, throw up the set, man. You can throw up the set. Yeah, I'm real live over here." You're like, "Nah, bro, I'm not doing that." Like, folks are talking about some man. Braun about to fire security. Why did they let that man get that close like that? Why did they make it that close like that? Throwing up the set. I'm gonna take a picture. What?
Come on,
You can throw it up with
Facts.
me.
Make it make sense.
come
Come on, man.
Man.
Gotta move smarter than that.
He ain't about to do that.
on. Got to.
He ain't about to mess up the bag. I'm still in
Yeah, a
school.
good overall, good feel good moment for Messi, man. Shout out,
Bro.
uh, shout out Miami with that accusation. You know,
Facts, man.
bringing us Mo Salah.
David Beckham moved smart, man. Beckham was smart doing that shit, man. I shout out to him for that. And
You
then he brought his homies too. He signed Baskets. which I didn't get to see it in the highlights, but he distributed a lot of those balls that Messi was getting was distributed to through him. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I can pull those up real quick if time allows
So
it.
y'all thinking maybe on the board that like soccer in America could become bigger than the NBA or the NFL? Like it's not touching baseball. Like ain't nothing
Wait,
touching.
it could definitely be baseball, man. Don't nobody watch no baseball right now.
But like talk about the baseball national numbers. Technically, they I mean they still number one in terms of overall like
It has
money
the
coming in just
potential
by
because it can garner like international viewership because the sport of soccer is so big. Baseball is international, so it might have some difficulty overlapping that viewership because you got to think you got Dominican, Honduran like baseball
yeah,
players. You know,
you got people all over playing baseball,
yeah,
man. Like for real.
baseball up there too, far as being international in that market. It just to me
Yeah,
it's not big because I don't watch it, but it's definitely
me. Yeah, it's up, and then we look at the way that how much the Yankees control just by the Yankees organization by themselves, not even the rest of the league. They're number one, and it's solidly number one. Like number two is like the Cowboys, and they're way, way behind. Like you know what I'm saying? Like there's no, and I think it's like the Giants or something like that. But like the rest of the teams that's up there, in terms of like organizations work the most are mostly baseball teams. Not even like the Lakers is up there, type like that. They're in like top 20. But like most of the teams that cost the most and get the most media availability and coverage and all that gonna go straight to baseball. Low key, you know what I'm saying? And I think soccer has a solid chance, especially doing that over here. Like you said, the international coverage, the availability, the face, the personality, the journey that we actually be able to watch to where now folks to be able to say, like, yeah, folks know David Beckham, but now you got folks 20, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Messi, I've heard that name. I heard everyone knows talked about him and Ronaldo. Let me, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the, okay, like, what is it? Like, Kobe and Mike, we were seeing them as straight dogs, right? Straight dogs, no one can touch them. We don't see LeBron as the same way because we see him all the time. He's like the little homie. You know what I'm saying? We see that man on TV. We see that man on commercials. We see that man every day. They talk about him every
yeah.
day. If the
LeBron
man
is a
passed
lot
gas,
more like advertisement friendly. He's more likable in the like overall. He gets a more positive like exposure
Yeah,
media.
Uh,
Like
and that's why a lot
Kobe
of
was an
people
athlete.
thought Ronaldo. That's why people thought Ronaldo would come over here before Messi because Ronaldo spoke English. So that's why they said Ronaldo became more marketable.
Yeah,
You know, like if you're a fan of the game, people know appreciate Messi more. But a lot of people who don't know soccer, they'll say they know Ronaldo more because they just hear the name more than Messi.
and he
But
has
lately,
more
it's
of a
changed.
he has a more of a following. I feel on social media, Ronaldo he has a more flashy lifestyle. Messi's
Yep. Ronaldo's gonna flex.
yeah, Messi's more
Messi's
of
the
a
family
family
guy.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
it's.
girlfriend. Like he even like married the shorty or something like that. And they can't
I don't
say
know. I
they got
did hear something
like
about it too. Also saying like he's getting special treatment because out there you can't just be
you can't just be out there
yeah, you can't
lady.
be out in the streets with them. You know what I'm saying? But I think they're just like, bro, we gotta let him slide. You know what I'm saying? If we didn't let him slide, he probably would not have came here. That's
Not
probably
for
the
it's
first
a whole
question he
different
asked.
culture
Hey,
out there in the
that
Middle
man,
East.
I bet you that first time at that meeting, he said, "Okay, I see the 1 billion, but can my shot? Can my
It's
shot?
a lot that
Can
come
my
with that
shotty?
1 bill.
Can my shot? Yeah, like hey, can my shotties? You know what I'm
That's
saying? Yeah,
it's
so
on
they
that
probably had to let
contract.
that.
We can do $1.8 million, but you and your shorty cannot sleep in the same room like ever, as long as you're under contract.
No, you're not disrespecting me like that. No, it's not about the money. You're not finna tell me what I can't do, what I can and can't do with my woman, man. I don't like that, especially if I'm not in your religion. And I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because I don't know Ronaldo's faith, but I do not. I don't think
Yeah,
he's practices Islam. So maybe that's probably why they let it slide too, because it's like, oh well, but it's also just a cultural thing. So I don't really know, man. That's a tough one to see because you can't let it get you can't give him special treatment, but you also know he not finna rock with that if you tell him what to do like that. And I
no,
think that
for real.
I don't know. And maybe he's got that type of significance that they let him kind of do what he does. So we'll have to
Bull
see.
to be. We're gonna make it. We could bend for this. We could let it slide or whatever. We'll say it's okay, but it might be a little harder for the people over there to relate because they'll be like, oh, like that's not really our way. You're a great star, but it's like a Kevin Durant type of thing. Like, yeah, he's great, but they're gonna look at someone else on the team as their real hometown hero type. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because of he's the best player, but he ain't our player. He came here because we wanted him here. Cool. Thanks for coming. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't really ingratiate yourself in the city and where you at, it kind of makes it harder for you as a superstar to fully thrive in your market. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine like James Harden going somewhere and everyone just talk about how much he party. That man ain't not gonna ball good no more. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna ball good no more at all. He be like, dang, these folks know when I go out every night, bro, how they get this, man? And I can't even do this. Ain't even it no more. They got something to say about
facts.
everything I want to do. I can't go out no more. Every time I do something, it's gonna get out. Man, you know what, bro? I'm just ready for this contract to get over with. How soon can I get up off of this tip? Like for real, for real. Like that's the life. Like of a superstar going into in professional athletes when you like, especially when you're going over there to be that beacon. You thinking it's not just about the money, it's about everything that's coming with it, like the move, the lifestyle, the religion of the area, the people. Like you can't just drop yourself somewhere and just expect yourself to swim. Like you got to make sure the waters is nice, it ain't freezing cold, ain't no shark infested water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to make
And
sure
he
you're set up
good.
for
Yeah,
success.
Messi got the best spot he can be. Like he said, he's gonna be at Club Live, South Beach, Publix, Wawa, everywhere. He's gonna be at the Heat games. Maybe he goes to the Dolphins games. I don't really know. But and he might even start hitting LA. He might be in other spots too. Next thing you know, the man gonna be in New York just chilling, just vibing in New York, vibing in LA or something like that. You
Yeah, I
never
think
know,
he really.
you know?
I think.
And he's
Don't
also
Go ahead. Go ahead. Nah, finish up.
no, go ahead, go ahead. No, that
Nah,
was
I,
really it.
I
I
was
was
just
just
adding
naming
to what you're
places.
saying. I think Messi about to really just take advantage of being in the States, and he gonna get the most experience out of this. Like, I think he's just gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Like,
His kids gonna really like they gonna get a different type of vibe because they was chilling with Kanye's son. What's his Saint or whatever? So they was chilling with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they go, his son's going. I think he's got like 3 boys. So they gonna start playing football over here, and you know what I'm saying? They gonna not like American football, but real football. They're gonna be playing ball over here and balling out and like if Messi makes this his permanent home, like even if he retires here and just stays here, his boys are gonna be like the best players in America. They could end up even possibly playing because I don't know where his sons were born. I don't know if they were born in Argentina, so I don't know if they would be able to play for them. But that's a huge possibility for now. The U.S. national team could possibly get one of Messi's kids on our team if they stay here for that pro length amount of time. So thinking about it, what it does for not just the professional United States soccer. Now look at what it's going to do for the national team soccer for the next 10 to 15 years. Now he low key might have brought America a World Cup by just coming over here to play. I know
low
it's a little bit far fetched, but you just never know the impact that's going to have
I
with
would
it.
agree with you because he's changing the culture. He's changing like when you talk about players going to a different city, like they changed change the culture coming to folks buy in. He's gonna change the culture for in terms of this country of actually looking at soccer and being like, oh shoot, I should tap into this. I need to see this.
Yeah,
Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's it's not like there weren't great players that have played here in America before. Like we've had some good players, you know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact that when you have someone of that magnitude and size coming over, it's just going to make it feel like a renaissance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot more. We're going to see a lot more kids, a lot more people. Hell, you might be even like go to the park and see folks playing full on soccer games and stuff like that, bro, out here in Florida.
oh
Like
yeah,
for
yeah, most
because of
definitely.
that, because of the watching and saying, bro, I know you had to see that, bro. Like that's just how it's going to go, and it's going to be beautiful to see. Cause heck, even for myself, like I ain't never played soccer before I got to high school, and getting on, I was learning everything on the fly on the first go, and I liked it. I wish I knew what I knew now. I knew then, understanding like, bro, like it's not just like a oh they're just running around and it's just for car whatever. Like oh this is just dang like I like not to be able to keep up. I didn't understand the rules. For me, like I thought I was saying call timeout, and I've realized the hard way. There's no timeouts in soccer. Oh shit,
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah. It's all
Like
it's,
so damn,
it's
a
it's a lot
possession.
of like fast thinking. It's really fast thinking. A lot of people say like, "Oh, baseball, you have to move. You move fast. Things happen in baseball. It's slow. Anticipation is slow, but when play happens in baseball, it moves fast." And then they say, "Well, football is kind of the same thing, where it's like, yeah, you're gonna have it's taking 4 quarters and you got all this, but when they sprint, they sprint." Then basketball is kind of a mixture of that. Basketball has a mixture of soccer to where it's going to be constantly moving, but there are a substantial amount of breaks in between to where you have to start using your mind and thinking, oh, we're up, down, we're down one, we're down two, like especially when it comes to the foul game where you got to do that. And oh, you get the 2-for-1 here. Oh, they're in the bonus, so don't foul. You have to think a little bit. Soccer, it's really less thinking and so instinctual. Soccer is so instinctual. There's no like, okay, you have a couple of times where you need to use strategy and plays, but that's really off of a set piece. And that's really still instinctual in a way too. But really, the way you move the ball is all instinct because I have to go off of how far the ball is getting kicked. So my overlap can't be too wide if I notice that that ball is not, if that kick is not going to get there, or if that distance is going to have me off sides if I go too far wide. So it's really off of instincts and less like of okay, this is where I need to be and I got to be here. I got to be at this part of the field. No, it's going to be I can do this overlap here at the middle of the field, even though I wanted to do it over there on the other side of the field. But based off where the ball is at now, let's just do it right now. Boom, overlap, boom, get the through ball and go. Now I'm scoring. So it's like so instinctual to where the ball is and where everybody else is on the pitch. So it's just different from every other sport here in America that tends to
And
have a little bit more of a just a little bit more of a condensed version of moving fast.
the two biggest sports in America are so stationary in a set place in baseball and football. Basketball and soccer, you play both sides of the ball. More, it's not. I won't say it's more individualism to the point to where like it just matters who the stars are. Like you need role players and the other pieces all make sense in order for your stars to be able to be a star. But you get to be able to see them on the field, see them doing their work, and being on both sides. Like love football. Quarterback don't play defense.
Yeah,
Love baseball. You could just be a pitcher and not do nothing else. We got
yeah,
Shoto now. He's doing everything. It's like a first for everything. It's like this man can bat, hit, pitch, everything you want him to catch. Whatever you want him to do, you can just put him out there. It don't matter. He's just gonna be good somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really see that in those two sports. Or like we talk about the gadget players, like what they did with Taysom Hill or whatever the dude quarterback dude from the Saints
yeah.
behind Drew
That's him.
Brees. Okay, bet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't see that, and when we do see that, we're like, oh, he's just one on one. It's quirky, it's cool, and then it's just like a fad. But Messi, Braun, Kobe, these guys, the ones that have come in for those two sports, especially America, I feel like basketball and soccer may be on the up and up to overtake football. I don't know about baseball. Baseball, that's gonna be like a 10, 15 down the road thing. I think they kind of already on the decline low key in terms of popularity because, like you said, like I don't know about you, Mel, but me, I don't watch no baseball. I've tried to. I've been to a couple of games actually
No,
myself,
not
but
in a while.
it's just not marketed to me to feel like I want to go. And I live right down the street from the Devil Rays, literally pass
Yeah,
by them
you
every day.
literally do. You right there. It's the
That's
like
that's where
whenever I
probably
pulled up on you,
yeah.
whenever I pulled up on you, I did not even put in the devil your address. I just put in Devil Ray Stadium, then kept driving like 2 blocks, and was like, okay, there it is. Like I don't.
Foodtopia
That's the
Stadium,
easiest
right?
way to get to your spot.
Foodtopia.
No,
Tropicana
Tropicana,
Tropicana, yeah,
something like that. Yeah, something fruity.
Field. And those people are trying to sell the team. Now they want the team, and I just don't know what's going on with the whole thing. Like, okay, it seems like more got people just wanted just to be able to go there because they're Yankees fans or Boston fans or whomever when they come to play. But when the Braves is good, everybody come out of floods, and I'm like, okay, well, who's good? I don't know none of these people. You know what I'm saying? I've actually been he been actually gave like picked out a fit for one of the players. I can't remember the dude's name at all, but he was a player on the team. I don't think he was a star though. I don't know about that, but actually it was cool. But it's because for me, I feel because of that, not being able to, they have all this access, all the money, all the coverage, like all the games too. It's like, of course, the money's going to be there, but I think popularity wise, the NFL ain't trying to let up, and I know the NBA ain't too far behind the NFL, and soccer is trying to come up too. So I'm feeling as though this pool of people that's been staying with baseball because they've been diehard fans from generations and generations or whatever the case may be, is going to start to go to pull towards soccer, going to start pulling towards basketball more. Football, we'll see, but I think the money is more in basketball and soccer now because I'm well forever next. I'm trying to look up like contracts, whatever, but I think like soccer contracts might be a little bit better, a lot bigger bad, but a little bit better or bad.
Yeah, it just depends. MLS not so much, but over there in Europe,
Yeah,
Mbappe, Holland, Vinicius Jr., those three guys, they making big money. You know what I'm saying? Those dudes, they making big money over there. Sadio Mane, he's making money. And then even just dudes going over to Saudi Arabia, they're making money. But MLS, I think Messi, oh, excuse me, I think Messi is the highest player right now, coming in. And I think after him, I forgot who it was. I think it's some guy who plays for like New England FC. I don't even really know. The money's different over here, so because when
yeah.
it comes to the MLS, we can't look at contracts and compare it to anything else because their contracts is just not really, it's not on the same
It,
level, and it's
it's
not
not the
really
same.
as
It's not as sexy as for the camera.
yeah, and
Is that yeah,
it's not the best way of determining who's the best player outside of Messi, of course. But there's you can be a high played player and not be really known throughout the rest of the MLS. But then the guy who everybody does know might not keep headed a lot because maybe he's of age and he was popular in England and now he's over here. But like they're not going to pay him because he's 37 years old. But it's like he's gonna bring in the most fans in the seats because he's the most popular. So it's kind of different compared to the NFL where it's like the most popular player is probably gonna have the most money, and the most money is most likely going to be the most popular player. So it's just different over here in the MLS because they have so many guys that are just really on the team just to fill in seats because they were from a very good English team, but they don't really play that well. They're not really like the number one guy on the team. So
yeah. Now I get that too. I understand that. I don't know. I just think there's gonna be a lot more people willing to play soccer, especially when like how you said like when we were talking the other day, you said that you would want your kids to be able to play soccer first before getting into other sports. Man, I would say the same thing too, and I didn't myself. But truthfully, playing in high school, I'm like, bro, this is pretty easy. You get to understand like running, going out there, how to be able to maneuver out on a wide space. And then as you get older, you could transition into a basketball to understanding how to be able to move within the confined space, to be able to use your athleticism and start applying the IQ. You know what I'm saying? You could do it on the soccer field, but sometimes it's closing the field sometimes can help you understand the space
that's
and
where futsal comes into play. Which I play
and
futsal a little bit, and I like it. I just don't like because I'm so used to playing on a full pitch. I get to your mistakes. You get more space, especially as a defender. Futsal is really better for like people that are flashy or good with very accurate shots. Like I like long distance shots. Like I'm a player who literally thrived off of clearing the ball, sending the ball up towards the field so the forwards and the strikers could get up to it and or just like long distance passing or long distance shots. I wasn't really a guy of like, oh, we're gonna do these small quick passes, tiki taka, which is like a philosophy within soccer of just like fast moving passing all the time. So it's that's not really my style, but I've tried it and I've adapted well to it as I've gotten different, gotten older and played soccer a little bit more. But yeah, it's that can have a huge impact here in America too. I just don't know how. I feel like there's no real. I feel like the leagues hasn't that they have in place for it hasn't had a like significant player to come out of it because even in other places of the world, futsal isn't like a huge professional thing. Futsal is just more of a community thing that everybody else will play, like it's a pickup thing. So because it has so similarity to basketball to where you're on that same size court, just playing soccer. So
yeah, that's tough though. That's
it
tough.
involves
That's kind
even
of
much faster
yeah.
thinking.
That's the kind of stuff when you especially want to say like helping develop like to be an athlete or saying that you want to get into. That's the kind of stuff that help build the groundwork, the framework for you. You know what I'm saying? Going forward, not just saying like they're trying to be like LeVar Ball. Like, my kids get into the league. Like no, you want your kids to be able to live their life to the fullest and say, nah, this if you want to go out there to have fun, like you want to go fencing, man, let's get you some fencing class. You want to do some judo, let's go do that. You know what I'm saying? You want them to be well rounded to be able to say that they can do that and try whatever and be able to say whether they try and fail, you could try again to succeed or find something else that fits more into your capabilities. You know what I'm saying? You don't know or learn. You don't learn from your success. You learn from
Yeah,
failure.
it's called
Mhm.
failing
You
forward.
know what I'm
You gotta
saying? Like
fail
you don't
forward,
like.
and then you take that mindset, and you could add that, and even build on top of the foundation, the sport that you play professionally. You see a lot of athletes, if they want to get better in their sport, they feel like they stagnant, they start picking up boxing. They start working on their physique. Shout out Steph Curry, that lady last couple years, my boys in energy, getting toned up. It's a healthy mindset to have, a growth mind. Kind of spills into all other disciplines in your life, as far as being an athlete, and you see it at that level, at that professional level in the league.
Facts for real. But yeah, with that, y'all boys, appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Thanks for coming and listening to the Heavily Opinionated podcast. We're gonna get up out of here. And just make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, TikTok, everything like that, YouTube, whatever it is. Just keep messing with us. We're gonna mess with y'all. The NFL fantasy draft is coming soon. Next week, next episode, we might be talking a little bit more about the rules and regulations that we're gonna get into. When we had a full crew here, we're gonna definitely dive deeper because it's getting close. Training camp been started. The preseason should be coming up soon. I think the Hall of Fame game is coming up soon. But yeah, just definitely be on the lookout for that as we get ready for that. Y'all got anything else y'all want to say before we get up out of here?
Yeah, be on the lookout for that fantasy football, heavily opinionated league on the way, coming through. It's gonna be entertainment. We're gonna talk some mess. We're gonna talk some shit with the boys. Yeah, you're gonna have to bloat that out. But we're gonna talk some mess. And we got merch. We got merch. We got merch on the way. Heavily
Yes,
opinionated. We're
sir.
gonna drop that. That's coming this year. You know. We got a lot of stuff in the works.